Welcome to the 8th session. Today, first, we are going to do a little of revision of the diagnostic measures, and after that, we will move on to use Excel and SPSS, and we will take the data from Excel to SPSS and start with some basic analysis on SPSS. Okay, so if you have a computer with an SPSS installed, so you need to turn it on and put it in front of you because we are going to use it. Okay, كل عام وانتم بخير وان شاء الله رمضان كريم وان شاء الله تكونوا مبسوطين بالشهر الكريم. Okay, first we remember sensitivity and specificity, they both take columns. Okay, and by columns we mean columns of yes for the condition and no for the condition. Okay, positive predictive value and positive predictive value and negative predictive value use rows, which means they take the rows of the tests. Okay, for sensitivity we take true positive on all those who have the disease. For specificity, all those with true negative on everybody who doesn't have the disease. Here we have the same thing, but on continuous distribution. Here we have a cutoff, and the cutoff is defined by us. Okay, sometimes for diagnostic studies we have controls inside our study. Okay, and this is a better solution. So for this, I have the true negative. I have that distribution, and that will be defined by my controls, and I have the true positive, who are people with neuropathy, people with pain, people with whatever. Okay, so I have those and I have those, and that would be the best because I can measure sensitivity, specificity according to the cutoff I choose. And how can I choose a cutoff? By using the ROC curve and the area under the curve, and I can measure everything. But sometimes we do not have the distribution of the normal controls, so we have the normative data of our laboratory, for example, for the fibers of nerve detection in the skin, for example. For each age group, we have normative data. So I have that fixed, and whatever study I do, I just go to it, and I don't have to recruit any controls because those stay the same. And how do that laboratory keeps that normative data updated? Each skin biopsy is taken. If the person is diagnosed, they do not put it into the normative data, but if it is found to be healthy, then they put it into the normal distribution, and so we have a very big sample of controls that is ready, and we just need the samples from the diseased people. Okay, so here we have the cutoff, the best one, but we don't usually know where to put that line. So sometimes we need ourselves to be more sensitive, and sometimes we need to be more specific. More specific, more sensitive. Okay, the ROC 1 minus specificity to make it look like this, and we take the best point in here, sometimes to here, but never like losing any specificity for no gain in sensitivity. Okay, so here we have the maximum specificity and the maximum sensitivity. The higher the ROC curve is, the better. Why? Because here we are closer to that point which has 100% specificity and 100% sensitivity. Okay, the likelihood ratio, we have two likelihood ratios, the positive and the negative. The positive is just for when I have a positive result for my test. The negative likelihood ratio is when I have a negative result for my test. Okay, we remember the calculations for them. For what reason do I use the likelihood ratio? Actually, I have a pretest probability, and this is defined by other tests, by whatever, by the clinical experience. Yeah, and after that, I need to take the test. Okay, when I need to decide which test to take, it's better to have a test that has more than 10 for positive likelihood ratio and less than 0.1 for negative likelihood ratio. Why? Because when I'm standing here in the middle, okay, and less than 10 or less than, so it will take me just from here to here. So it won't increase or decrease my probability that much, okay? So if I start from 10 and I end with 10, or if I start with 10 and end up with 20, if I get, for example, the 2 positive likelihood ratio, then that means nothing, okay? I need that test that takes me from here to 99% to 95%. I need those higher levels, or those lower levels where I can go to less than 1% probability. Okay, now may I ask how many of you have SPSS already installed? Please just put a thumb or
I don't have a thumb, but I have it.
okay. Okay. So first we will start with Excel, then we will move on to SPSS. But first, I want to ask you about any questions you have. About anything that's like what was discussed in that course. No questions? Okay. Sorry, I just need 1 minute to join from another computer. Okay, do you hear me? Perfect. Okay. This is, sorry, do you hear any noise? Okay. Okay. This is the Excel sheet we have. Okay. We have some answers from the Google form we had for the registration. I deleted the contact information for privacy. And so, what do you think we are missing from this file? We needed something really hard. What is it? First column, right? Please just interrupt to anything, so I know that everything is fine.
So the number for every participant is the missing thing?
Yeah, the number for the participants. Yeah, exactly. This is what I wanted to ask. Okay, then I will need a number, and actually Google Forms doesn't give me a number. So how do I put a number? I put 1. Okay, I will use this column. 1, 2, 3, and so on. How do I increase them? Like this? Okay, I take the point from the lower right corner and I take it down. Okay, do you think we need the timestamp? Apparently not. Okay. Okay, we have the name, the ID, Skype profile name. I changed it to 2 categories, blah blah, and just 1 blah. And we have the faculty, categorical data. Here we have 2 percentages, but they are actually categorical data, and we have a mistake in here. Okay, so how to solve this mistake? Should I take them all?
Maybe making another column?
Actually, I just have one mistake. Okay, so I will take it and I will remove this. Okay. Okay, for this column, okay, I will take those out. Okay, and we have this categorical data. Okay, do you think we can move on to SPSS with this file?
So we checked all the columns, so maybe we can.
So we need to check each column. Okay, here for the name, I won't have anything. Okay, here I still have the ID number, and they are the order is ruined because I don't have any because I classify them according to another column. So here I have categorical data, and I made sure they are ordered. When you have 10,000 patients or even 1,000, you can't check like by just looking. Okay, you need to sort it, and you find how many missing variables you have. Okay, here for example, okay, for faculty, I will arrange them because I think I will find one mistake. Remember to expand the selection. Okay, faculty of pharmacy, faculty of medicine, faculty of dentistry. Okay, here postgraduate residents. Okay, but this is included in higher studies, right? And this can be specialist. Okay. Okay. Here for the university, I also sort them. Okay, Tishrin University is written in two ways. Jordan. Okay, Damascus. Aleppo University is written in two ways. I'll correct them because they will put Aleppo alone and Aleppo University alone. Okay, so okay, we are finished with this, and those who are done with those, and those are actually they didn't include any additional information. Okay, so nobody could enter anything in here. I'm participating right now for that person. Okay. Do you think all of them are ready? Okay. I want to create more columns. Okay. For example, here I just allocated random numbers to the names. So I want something. Okay. For example, consider those ages or scores or whatever. Okay. So I want to make them categorical data. Okay. So random category. Okay, how to make those categorical data? Do you have any idea? Just please be more interactive.
So if I made like some under 50, more than 50, more than 100, and like
Okay.
that, مثلا.
Okay, how to do it?
How to do it? I'll have them ordered, and then I'll give in the new column, I'll give every number that is less than 50, number 1, on the other column, and between 50 and 100, we'll have like number 2, 100 and 150, number 3,
like the
and so
idea.
on.
I like the idea. Okay, remember that if this row is not taken from a Google form, you need to freeze it, because if I order them and this is a name. It can go like to the last row. Okay, so please order them. Okay, here for everything like higher than 3,000. Okay, more than 300. Look. Remember to make sure of this, because sometimes when you put a line and you take the green point, it sometimes copies the cell and sometimes it reduces the number or increases the number. Okay, so the other way is just to copy this cell and paste it. Okay, here I will take from 50 to 299. And here, then 50. Okay, now we made some continuous data. Okay, now we are going to do something to those. Okay, actually those three columns represent those who are interested in the course. Okay, so I want to know if those this is the percentage of topic you are interested in. Okay, so this is positive. Those who have higher percentages here, okay, need the course more, and those who have higher score here can attend the course more. Okay, those who have higher score in here, okay, those have 5, like I have done data analysis for the research project, they need the course the least, okay, out of the participants of our study. Okay, how to classify them? Okay, I don't need 3 columns, I just need 1 column that represents the need of that person to the course. Okay, the need, the interest, and the capacity to attend the course. Okay, how can I do it? I'm sorry, I'm using notes just to not miss any trick.
So can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, here I have 3 columns. Okay, each one of those columns represents something that is related to let's say the interest in attending the course. Okay, those 2 columns are positive. This 1 column is negative. Okay, because those who did data analysis for a research project do not need to attend the course. Okay, they are like increasing their experience, so they will take the lowest chance in attending the course. How to make those 3 columns 1 column that represents the interest, okay, or the need to attend the course.
If I give points?
Give points. Okay, for that column I need to give positive points, right? Okay, so what I will do is, this is interest. Okay, how to do it? You can do it in 2 ways. The first way is sort from largest to the lowest. Okay, how much would I give to 100? I will give 6 points. Okay, for those who are 75% interested, I will give 4 points. and for that person 2 points. Is that okay? If they are like thousands, how would I do it? Let's do it for that column. If there are thousands of patients and we need to classify them in a faster way. Okay, I will tell you how to do it. We use functions, okay? I take if, I put if. Remember, if you want to use functions, you need an equal, okay? This is the first thing you need to do. Sorry, just 1 minute. Okay. For the if function, we put the if and one side of the brackets. What is the logical test? Okay, the logical test is this cell. Okay, what do I need this cell to contain? Okay, I put equals, and here I put, sorry, yeah, those type of brackets, and I put 100%. It needs to match the exact way it is written in here. Okay, so this is my logical test. This cell equals 100%. Okay, if it equals, I put a comma. I move from the logical test to the value of true. If the value of true, remember, I will give 6. Okay, if the value is false, remember, to move from one to another, I put a comma. Okay, if the value is false, how much do I need to give? What do you think?
As much options as I have. I should tell him if it's not 100, if it's 75, so it's another number.
Okay, then I won't put a number in here. I could have put like 0 and close the brackets, and okay, it gives 0. But why? Okay, you don't need the brackets when you put 100%, okay? But if it is like a syntax, like there are letters, you need to put those quotation marks, okay? So remember, if it is a number or a percentage, you do not need the quotation marks. But if it is like Damascus University, we need those. So we will need those for those types of data. Okay. So I put that, but the problem in here is I take it down. It just classifies between 6 and 0. But I don't need that. I need some additional work in here. So, okay. So now we will put this if, okay, and we will write it again. Equal if brackets, the first formula, the one if that formula is correct. If it is not correct, we do not need to put the equal sign again. If, and if it is right, if, and if it is right, and if they are all wrong. Okay, and we press enter, and after I use this, I just take this green button to the end, and it classifies them. Okay, we will make sure their classification is right. So I will sort them. Okay, and it is actually right. The last one with 100, they are all classified as 6. Okay, 75 for. Always make sure to go to them and to check them. Okay, if you can, if the sample is small. If it is not, just take some samples. Okay, random samples of them. Take one in the middle, one in the last few rows, and make sure they are all correct. Okay. Now for the experience, I also need to classify them, classify those, because when I enter SPSS, I don't want these cells. Okay, those cells are not good for SPSS. Okay, and actually some versions of SPSS do not read Arabic. Okay, so if you have them in Arabic and you enter them in SPSS, sometimes like they are in Chinese. So how to do it? We will use the same thing. Okay, equal if. Yes, please, Zara.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
I remember that there is like an easier way to make Excel write this formula for you. Like he gives you a screen where he gives you options and he writes the formula. He just asks you, what do you want this formula to do?
But actually,
Right?
it is really simple to do it like this, because we are just using simple formulas. I'm not quite sure about your idea, but I feel this is easy. But of course, if you can find this way and send it to the group, that would be great. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay. If this cell, but actually I did a mistake, because I need to copy the first, I will sort them, because for those I won't write them, because of course I will make one mistake. So if I'm going to do any mistake, it's better to copy them from here. Okay, I've done data analysis. Those will take 5 points. Okay. And now we use this quotation mark. Those will take 5. I will put 0 till I copy the next one. Doing data analysis. Those will take 4. And I just remove the 0, put if. Another 0. Remember to close the brackets. You enter. And this will take 3. Remember to select the same cell. Okay, you don't want to take several cells for each row. For that row, I need this cell, and all the functions will happen for this cell. Okay, if I take several cells, that will be a disaster. If this cell and we just need the 2, Okay, we don't have any tools, so I will just take the one. Oh, this is it. Can press that button to show more. The mistake I did. Okay, they corrected that. They corrected it for me. I forgot to add the one of the brackets. Okay, and this is the last one. Okay, and now we just 2 clicks on it. 4, 4, 4, 1, 5, 2, and the 3. Okay, I think we are fine right now. Do you think we need to do anything before we go on to SPSS? Remember,
Aren't we summing them up?
of course. Okay, so I put here a column for sum. But remember, I told you that those with higher experience will gain
Negative.
for getting into the course. So how am I going to sum them up? The average for those 2 columns, okay? The ability and the interest, okay? And the average is so easy. We take the average formula and we select all the cells. I need the average for, they might be a column or so. And we do that. Okay. Actually, now I will just take the average and the experience, okay? I won't take those both minus this. I will take just the average minus the experience. So how to do it? Just I select this cell minus this cell, okay? And now we might get some minus data, some higher data. So what I'm going to do, actually, I just need to increase a little bit. Okay, I want to just drag them 2 levels higher. So how should I do it? +2. Okay, but no, that should have happened to the first one. Okay, so I will take this up. I will take this also down. Okay. You see that for each cell now I have the same on the same row, this cell minus this cell, and I added 2 just to make them all positive. I will sort them. Okay, do you think now we are fine? Are you satisfied? Do you need to do anything else with the SPSS, with Excel? I think we covered everything we needed to cover last week. We talked about them theoretically, and now we did them all. Now we worked on just 2 columns, but actually it might be like a scale of 20 columns. You just score each one of those columns and you sum them up, or you take the average and you work on with that. And sometimes for the average, after you get the average. For example, for Glasgow Coma score, you have 3 columns. Yeah, you take the sum, and after that, the sum will be categorized for those who need ICU admission, those who do not need, and so on. Okay. So, is there anything else we need to discuss on Excel?
I found the way I was telling you about. You just press on the effects.
Can you please? Okay. I suggest we take it to the group because all of you are going to use these formulas or use anything else, and you will report any problem to the group afterwards. Okay. So now we should move on to SPSS. Okay. I will save this, and now when we open SPSS, this is the first screen we can reach. Okay. So I have several databases that I want to work on, but I can also create a new database. Okay. If I create a new database, that will be easy. Okay. It gives me a blank database. Well, what should I do right now is like I just click on that cell, put R, T, those might be the names. I click on here, so this column is activated. I put numbers. I can insert data directly into SPSS. Okay, so yeah, and sometimes I have like continuous data and so on. Okay, but I'm not going to create a new database because I want to open an already prepared one. Do you have any question about Excel? Shall I open the new one?
A question.
Yes, please.
Why do we prefer to put the data first in Excel instead of directly in SPSS?
Because it's difficult to insert them into SPSS. And I don't usually put the data directly into Excel. I use Google Forms or Access Forms. Okay.
But if the data in papers, for example, is it better to directly insert it to SPSS?
If the data is on paper, you mean on questionnaires or on real papers, published papers?
9 questionnaire.
A questionnaire, okay. Is it easier for you to insert them into a sheet, an Excel sheet, or is it easier for you to insert them into a form? Okay, so this is actually the easiest way to use Google Forms or Access Forms, depending on the settings you have. And afterwards, you take the Excel sheet out of them, you correct it, you clean it, and after that, you enter it into SPSS, okay? Especially if you have some private data, because dealing with them is easier in Excel.
Okay.
Okay, so now I will open an Excel file. Okay, to open an Excel file, I will need to open another file because here they usually give me just SPSS data. Okay, I will go to downloads, and here I still don't have any Excel sheets. I will go to Excel data, activate that type, and here we go. Now it's beginning to analyze the file. Okay, why? Because Excel is going to Excel is organized in a different way from SPSS. If I take an Access sheet into SPSS, it will be easier because in an Excel sheet, I have the same distribution of columns and rows. But now, the program needs to understand how the file is organized. So it asks me, do you want to read the names of the variables from the first row of the data? Yes, actually, I need that. Because if you remember, the first line was the names. In here, in SPSS, the first line is not the names. The first line is a case. Okay, and I don't want to select any specific range. I need every data in that sheet, and I press OK. Now it's analyzing the file and importing data. And now I have it. Okay, just you can see in here, we have the names in the not in the first row, in an additional row created by SPSS. Okay, and this is the difference. What is the problem we forgot to solve in Excel sheets? Actually, the names of the variables. They shouldn't be inserted in SPSS like this, because for the names of the columns of the variables, there shouldn't be spaces. So as you can see in here, they just merged the names into just one big word. Okay, I see the data is correct and everything is fine. Okay, I have 49 participants. Okay, now I have an ID, and what is the importance of the ID? Because here I have a number, but if I want to connect my data to an Excel sheet, I need that number. I don't need those, because those are not affected. We do not have those blue numbers in Excel sheets. Okay, so those are the identifiers that are unique and that are mutual between here and Excel. I will just order them. Okay, now you can see a problem that sometimes happen when I take data from Excel sheets to SPSS. We have 2, 3 rows that are actually empty, but SPSS reads them. For example, an Excel sheet, I might have entered a space or something like this, so they are interpreted as equal, as like we have observations here, but they are empty. So I'm going to delete them. And remember that thing, okay? When I delete them, I will lose the numbers from 1, 2, and 3, okay? So this is the importance of these lines. For example, if I think that this row is, for example, he didn't answer all the question, and I want to delete it right now, okay? Those blue numbers will be changed, okay? So I will have a different number for Lila. But if I have those numbers, those won't be changed, okay? Because that number, if it is deleted, it won't affect that number. Okay, so I will delete those. Sorry. And now I have my data. Well, what do you think the first step in SPSS should be? Actually defining the variables, okay? Here we have the variables, and as I told you, those variables are not interpreted the same way in SPSS. So you have two views. Here we have the data, and here we have a separate view just for the variables, okay? First, the ID. It actually knows that the ID is numeric. We didn't insert that, but SPSS automatically understood that this column is numeric. That's perfect. The width, it gives me a width. For the decimals, if you can see here, we have a decimal of 0 for all the numbers, although that wasn't available in Excel. So, and I don't need that, so I will decrease it. Okay. The label, the meaning of the ID, sometimes I have a long, for example, those should be taken to here, and in here I will just put a small name. Okay, if you can see here, those with the spaces are left here with the spaces, and here they are merged. Okay, so we know that. Values. What are the values? If you look in here, those are just numbers, IDs. They mean nothing. Okay, but let me see those. That column, that sum column. Okay, we have from 1, as I remember, ascending, yeah, from 0 to 7. Okay, what are the meaning of those numbers? I have 0 less likely, like it's the least likely to enter the course. 7 is the highest likely to enter the course. So what should I do in here? Actually, in values, I define what does those numbers mean. For example, if I have in here, I will just put some an additional column, an additional variable, and we'll consider it as graduation. Okay, I'll put 1 till here and 0 till 1. Okay, I will consider 1 as graduated, 0 as not graduated. Okay, so what should I do right now? I go to values. I should correct that. When I enter data into SPSS, it's better that I have everything coded, like zeros and ones. Okay, I will put the meaning in here, but it's because SPSS deals better with numbers. Okay, so it is numeric. I have the width, the decimal, but the values. Remember, for the what was the first value? 0. What does it mean? Not graduated. And 1. Okay. I hope it works. Okay. Do you see that button? From 1 to A. If I have several columns and I don't remember what was the meaning of those, I just click on that and it inserts the meaning of the numbers I have. Graduated and not graduated. I click it again and I have the original codes. Okay, and in the analysis it will put the real names. It won't put just 1 and 0s. Okay, what else do we have in here? Missing. Okay, for example, let's say that for graduation I have some people who are not classified. Okay, for those I do not know if they graduated or if they didn't graduate. What should I do? Because if I don't insert any data, it will be blank and it will just ruin all my analysis. So what should I do? It's like missing. I enter here and I select the 999 as one of my missing values. So now SPSS understands that when I enter 999, this cell shouldn't be considered for the analysis. When I take the mean, when I take the average, whatever, when I do the analysis, it understands that this cell is not to be considered. Okay, if we go here, you see those are not considered. Okay, they will stay. And just the analysis will ignore those cells. Okay, we can ignore those. Those are just for the appeal and the
Can
measure.
I have more than, sorry. Can I
Yeah,
ask
you can
question?
have more than one.
Yeah, more than one is okay, good. We have 10 minutes, by the way.
Okay, so what is the measure in here? Actually, we have three types of data. Scale for ID, ordinal or nominal. Okay, now SPSS just understood that some of them are like this, okay, and they are all input. Scale, that's correct. For random number, it is a scale. Random category, it's nominal. Sky profile name is nominal. Faculty nominal, everything is nominal till here. Scale, but why is this? Yeah, right, because we have letters in here, so it puts it as a scale. Now for those, interest, ability, experience, average, and sum, they actually, I did classify them as a nominal variable. Okay, but why? Because I entered them into Excel, okay? And sometimes when they are entered into Google Forms, they are interpreted in a different way. So now those are interpreted uh, like letters, okay? 4 means 4. It doesn't mean the number 4. It just means that these people are 4, okay? Like a noun. Okay, how to change it? Any suggestions? I just select scales. If I need them to be scales, I will just move it from here. Okay? But for example, I can't move this to be scale. Why? Because I have letters already in there. If I have any letters in the data view, I won't be able to move them to be scales unless I remove all the letters. Okay? So now we are ready to work more on these variables. Okay? Ask me questions if you want. Okay. Now we are going to use the same skills we learned with Excel on SPSS. And to use them, we need the transform. Okay, I'll just tell you about those, like save the data set. I will save it. They are saved as SAV, so make sure. Okay. Do redo and undo. You don't need those. The find, you need the find sometimes. Split the file. Why would I split the file? Sometimes I need to just consider those with just one blah and those with two blahs, like in categories. Okay. If I want to take the mean of that random number, okay, and I split the file into two, according to that line, what will happen is I will have a mean for those with plow and a mean for those without with two plows. Okay. Selected data, I can just do all the analysis on just one category of the data. Okay, I can't use those filters for continuous data. I just use them for categorical data. Okay, so we will use them during the course. Okay, sometimes I have like missing data for as we have here. I have missing data in here. So I split the file according to those. So they do not just ignore them when they are analyzing this column. They ignore the four rows, the whole four rows for every analysis I do. Okay, and it actually crosses the line from here. Okay. What else do we have in here? Nothing really important. Okay, so for transform, first we have record into same variable or record into different variable. Always use into different variables. So what would I take? I would just take the ID and make a new column that is like ID twice. I can put an underscore, but I can't put a space for the name of the variable. And you will have that mistake a lot. ID 100. Okay, so you can view it here from ID to ID 100. What are the old and what are the new values? Okay, actually I selected a wrong column. Why? Because now I need to put each value and multiply it by 100. Okay, but I can like transform into another thing. For example, if I want to do categorical data, I would from 1 to 30, and the value is 1. I add it. Now I have from 31 to 60, and we don't have any other any numbers more than 60, and those will be the second category. Do you remember this is the first thing we use for categorical data, for transforming continuous data into categorical data? I did that, and I do continue. Okay. And now,
we have used those for creating the sums and experience we did in Excel, right?
Of course. Well, we will do that. We will do everything in here again. Okay.
Okay.
Now you can see that ID 100, I just have 1 and 2. But I should go to a variable view and I should code the values because I will forget them. 1 means from 1 to 30, and value 2 from 31 to 60. Do you agree? Now when I go to data view, I will just press that button and it will tell me what does what do these numbers mean.